3 days passed with a strange pace, slow, muted, but never truly peaceful. Darius Hale lived curled up in the narrow stone cave he temporarily called home, a dark split carved into the side of the Obrex Ridge. It had a rocky roof for shelter, natural ledges for hanging things, a cool breeze rising from deep cracks below, and most importantly, it was difficult enough for predators to detect. For 3 days, he worked non-stop. He sharpened scraps of metal from the crashed ship into spearheads. He braided rope from the sinew of a burned swarm lawn, the only thing left intact after yesterday's sweep. He assembled a compass from ship debris and a small Obrex crystal, one that always pointed toward the crystal forest in the north because of its natural electrostatic pull. He checked his damaged energy gun and realized it only had enough power for 3 weak shots, nowhere near enough to kill a large creature. Darius sighed every time he thought about that. 3 days, and still nothing certain about surviving even one more. But at least he had his hands. And hands that know how to work almost never die quickly. The nights were freezing, so cold he had to bring heated stones inside and set them around his sleeping spot. The days were furnace hot. A planet of extremes, a place not meant for humans. Each morning he stepped out of the cave, studying the terrain, marking the stones, noting where the glowing Obrex mushrooms grew and where creatures left their trails. He learned to distinguish Vra'kor prints from Gorvak's tracks. He even learned to read the scent of the wind. And gradually, something changed in him. He began surviving, not just existing. The third morning started the same. The sky was faintly gray, the crystal layers on the ridge glowing weaker than usual. The wind carried a metallic scent, not the burnt kind, but something cold. The smell of a magnetic storm or atmospheric distortion. Darius packed up the flat stones he used as a table, set down his spearhead, and tied the rope around his torso. A new day. Gotta try. He told himself, one of his new habits. But the moment he stepped out of the cave, he saw it. A red horizon, dark red like dried blood ground into dust, creeping from the southeast, spreading fast like an immense curtain being lowered onto the world. At first he thought it was red sand lifted by storm winds, until the color began to shift, deep red turning bright red, then rosy, then flame violet. His skin prickled. Not good. Not good at all. As it drew near, he could finally see it wasn't sand. It was vapor. A red glowing fog, so dense that looking through it was like staring through murky blood. Darius felt his survival instinct scream. The red vapor sea. He had read about it in SEU's environment logs before the mission. A rare atmospheric anomaly on Zertal, where geothermal fractures spewed out hyper-toxic, hyper-heated vapor capable of cooking flesh alive within seconds. But it usually lasted only minutes and appeared in the south. So why was a massive surge happening here in the northeastern ridges? Every question vanished when the wind shifted. The red vapor twisted, then surged straight toward him. Darius spun around instantly, sprinting back into the cave. He slipped, slammed into a stone step, caught himself, then dove inside as if chased by a demon. When the red vapor hit the cave mouth, the stone heated. Red hot. A sizzling burn crawled across the entrance. Darius dropped flat, protecting his face, his heart hammering hard enough to burst. The heat was only a few meters away. If he'd run 2 seconds slower, just 2, he would have been cooked alive. He stayed frozen, eyes wide, chest rising and falling like he wasn't getting enough air. Outside, the red vapor sea shrieked like millions of molten steel bars plunged into ice water. It layered upon itself, crawling over stone, licking at the cave mouth like a beast searching for a way in. Darius retreated deeper, hiding behind a large stone slab. He didn't dare move. Time stretched like a century. The vapor blasted the cave mouth repeatedly until the rocks glowed. Thin smoke rose from overheated stone, making him cough harshly. The toxic mist didn't enter the cave, but the heat did. Enough to sting his skin in waves. He shut his eyes, wondering if he might suffocate here. Not far away, on a higher ridge, a massive figure stood still as carved granite. Vra'kor. His optical camouflage shimmered like rippling water. His mask displayed toxin data, heat levels, spreading rate. Yacha glyph scrolled rapidly, vapor C, toxicity level 7. Temperature 482 degrees Fahrenheit high, 1 outsider within impact zone. Vra'kor tilted his head, looking down at the cave where Darius hid. He had no reason to interfere. The clan laws were clear. Do not hunt prey unworthy of the hunt. Do not save those who are not of the clan. Do not interfere with natural death. When the red vapor reached the cave edge, instead of running out, Darius ran deeper. He steadied himself, forcing his breath to stay controlled. Vra'kor did not fully understand other species, but But he knew one thing: resilience against nature was worth noting. A new line appeared on his mask. Evaluation, not a trophy. Not weak as previously assessed. Vra'kor watched for a moment longer. No help. No warning. Then he turned away, vanishing among the glowing rocks, leaving the red vapor sea to swallow the mountain. Inside the cave, Darius still lay flat. The heat swept in enough that he wrapped his thermal jacket around his head. The stone beneath his hand grew so hot he jerked away instinctively. "I'm dead. I'm really gonna die in here," he muttered, breath broken. Then, like a miracle, the red vapor sea began to recede. Finally, only a thin smoke rose from scorched stone. Darius sat up, body drenched in sweat. He crawled to the entrance, touched the stone, then yanked his hand back immediately. Holy hell! The rock was searing. One layer of stone, one moment, one timely decision, and he had survived. Darius exhaled hard. It had been a long time since he felt this small. Farther up the ridge, where no light reached, Vra'kor cracked his neck, letting out a low grunt. He saved the cave's location in his temporary memory. Darius watched the sky fade from red and slowly understood something important. This planet will kill anyone who becomes careless. The red vapor sea is only one of Sertal's smallest horrors.